Cain and Abel, the first murder and its lessons. It was a peaceful morning, full of promises in the Valley of Eden where Cain and Abel had been raised. The two sons of Adam and Eve lived under the legacy of their parents, who had been expelled from the Garden of Eden. This legacy carried with it the burden of work and the hope of redemption. Cain, the firstborn, had inherited a love for the land and dedicated himself to cultivation. Abel, on the other hand, took care of the sheep, forming deep bonds with the animals under his care. The relationship between the brothers was marked by their shared communion with God, who taught them to live justly and offer sacrifices in gratitude and devotion. One day, God asked the brothers to prepare offerings as an act of worship. Cain gathered the fruits of his harvest, while Abel chose the best of his flock. When the moment arrived, both presented their offerings before God. Abel delivered his sacrifice with a heart full of humility and devotion, recognizing divine sovereignty. God accepted his offering with joy. However, Cain's offering was received differently. God perceived that Cain's heart was filled with pride and indifference, and although his offering was good in human eyes, it lacked spiritual sincerity. God rejected Cain's sacrifice, but not without guidance. Why are you angry, and why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it. Cain felt deeply humiliated and offended. His anger and envy grew like a shadow in his heart, turning into resentment toward Abel. He couldn't control his emotions, allowing sin to gain a foothold. One day, he invited Abel to go to the field under the pretext of a conversation. As they walked, Cain's envy overflowed. He attacked his brother and, in a thoughtless and cruel act, took his life. Abel, the righteous, fell to the ground Cain had so dearly loved. The innocent blood cried out to the earth and reached God's ears. "Cain, where is your brother Abel?" God asked. Cain tried to evade responsibility, responding coldly, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" But God, who sees all, replied, "What have you done? The blood of your brother cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." Cain, overwhelmed by despair, cried out, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer, and anyone who finds me will kill me." In his mercy, God marked Cain with a sign to protect him, ensuring that no one would dare kill him. Thus Cain left for the east to the land of Nod, carrying the weight of his choice and the memory of his brother. Lessons for today. The story of Cain and Abel teaches us several important lessons. First, it shows how our choices and attitudes reflect our hearts before God. Abel offered the best with sincerity and devotion, while Cain allowed pride and envy to taint his sacrifice and actions. Second, we are reminded that sin is always lurking, but it is up to us to choose to overcome it before it consumes us. Cain's anger and resentment could have been avoided if he had chosen repentance and humility. Finally, the story highlights God's justice and mercy. He punishes Cain for his transgression, but does not abandon him completely, showing that even in our mistakes, there is hope for repentance and redemption. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to activate the bell. Every day, another chapter of the excellent creation of our glorious Lord. See you next time.